But true resilient mindfulness, like you said, has to not be completely overwhelmed or destroyed by what you're aware of. So it's not just paying close attention, it's being at peace or acceptance with that.
Yeah. So, on self-awareness, some of the things that we need to be aware of are our own emotions. And when we practice mindfulness, you will experience your emotions coming up. And as they do, you want to acknowledge them, but also then maybe tune into another sense so that you're not necessarily getting overwhelmed by that emotion that's coming up for you. And we need to learn about our motivations, the things that really drive us, what makes us happy, what brings us joy.
That we let ourselves understand that we might have to create purpose and meaning out of what's happened. And you and I have talked about this before. I was just looking at a quote from Viktor Frankl, who was one of the Holocaust victims in a concentration camp for 4 years. And he talked about the connection between pain and purpose, and that our pain can become more than just pain if we can attach it to purpose. Now, that doesn't mean the purpose has to be handed to us. And you know how I feel about that. I don't think God makes all of these things happen. I hate when people say all things happen for a reason. I prefer to say we can find reason in all things that happen.
Absolutely.
But it takes mindfulness. If I just sit back passively and say, oh, God must have needed this to happen. Now, whether there's truth in that or not isn't the point. It completely takes it out of me. And I'm just helplessly the victim of what's happening to or around me. I think what we're talking about, this awareness and sense of purpose and mindfulness, is the ability to process what's happened to or around us, to be mindful about how it affects us and how we're going to get through this. And without feeling like we have to fix it, realizing we can learn. We can grow. I might be the one creating the meaning, and you might look at me and say, you're crazy. That's not what that means. But to me, that meaning and that growth can be part of my mindfulness, part of my self-care, and then it helps me develop that resilience.
Right. Pain with a purpose can be an instrument of growth, right?
That's beautiful, Michelle. Pain with a purpose can be an instrument of growth.
And
wow.
Pain with suffering is just suffering.
Yeah.
And so when we can acknowledge the purpose in the thing that is causing us pain, I think that it's easier to get through each step of that. Are you grateful for the opportunity to have lived through that experience?
Right.
And the great
thing
thing
better
is,
for it?
We are always better for it. And isn't it great that we can go through really difficult things that feel like they may break us, and yet they don't?
I know. It's as if the breakdown becomes the breakthrough to the next level.
And that's exactly what it is. And that's, for me, that's the entire purpose of life.